And welcome back to my channel. It's Ijoma here. In today's video we are going to learn how to make this beautiful dress. I made mine with pink. So if you are buying fabrics for this particular style, you buy 2 yards of the main fabric, like the pink one. I used 2 yards, and for the small ones I used half yard, like half a yard. For the big one, actually you can use 2.5, but I am slim, so 2 yards was actually very okay for me. Now I'll start off by cutting the skirt part of this dress. People requested corporate dresses from me, and then I am doing it. Now I'll go ahead and fold my fabric into 2. I am trying to cut the skirt area. I'll fold my fabric into 2, and this is a 3/4 dress. The full length of the dress will be 45 inches. Now after folding it, I will cut off the rough area of that dress. I will cut off the rough area. Then after cutting it off, I'll go ahead and take my body measurement. Guys, I'm actually tired. I wish I can just play this video without talking, but then I'll have to do it, just that I'll not be talking too much. Then the next thing that I'm going to do right now is to take out my half length, and my half length is 16 inches. So I'll place 16 inches at the top of that skirt, and then I will take from my shoulder to hip, from my shoulder to knee, and shoulder to full length. This is how I like cutting my skirt. So my shoulder to hip is 27 inches, my shoulder to knee is 36 inches, and the full length of the dress is 45. Then I'll also go ahead and add my 2 inches seam allowance. Now after doing that, I'll go ahead and take my hip. My hip is 40 divided by 4, that is 10, plus 1 inch seam allowance. And my waist is 27 divided by 4, 8, that is 27 divided by 4. Sorry, I am using 27 divided by 4, that is 6.75, plus 1 inch seam allowance I marked. Then from my waist, I will connect to my hip. And my knee line, what I normally do is that if my hip is 40, I'll take out 8 inches and then divide the rest by 4. So my hip is 40, I'll take out 8 inches and I will divide that 8 by 4. Whatever I have, I'll mark it at my knee line. So my hip is 40, right? I'll take out 8 inches and that will be 32. So 32 divided by 4 will be 8. 32 divided by 4 is 8. So I'll just go ahead and mark 8 inches at my knee line, because I want it to have this fine pencil shape. I hope you understand. So I'll just go ahead and mark 8, and I'll connect from my hip to that 8 inches and down to the full length. Then after marking, I'll cut out. So if you are making your skirt, if you want to get a pencil skirt, whatever you have at your hip, remove 8 from it and then divide by 4 and mark at your knee. That is what I normally do. Or if you don't want to go through that long process, you can as well take out 2 from what you marked at your hip line. I marked 10 on my hip, so I'll just take out 2 from that 10, that is 8. So it's still the same thing. I'm in love with this particular crepe fabric. Seriously, I love this crepe fabric. The next thing that I'm going to do now is to fold, and I will cut my back. So for my back, I'll go ahead and add 1.5 inch for my zipper allowance. I want to use 1.5 inch for my zipper allowance, and I'll go ahead and cut out that. So you don't really need to take out too much measurements. So that from that zipper allowance, I'll also have my slits there. I hope you understand. So I'll just go ahead and cut out my skirt part. After cutting the skirt part, we are going to cut the top of this gown, of this dress. So the top of the dress, we have a normal dart. just a simple, a basic top, and we are doing freehand cutting. There is no point drafting a pattern for that. Now I am done cutting. I'll just go ahead and keep this aside. Over to the front, over to the top. So the front of the top I'll fold in. And first of all, you know, the neckline of this dress is somehow, but first of all, use your normal 3x3. Then after cutting your normal 3x3, you can now cut out the neckline. So my bust point is 10. From my shoulder to my bust point is 10. Shoulder to half length is 16, and I'll add extra 2 inches for seam allowance. Then I'll go ahead and connect the lines. And my neckline, I'll measure 3x3 for the front. I could told you guys that I will use 3x3 first of all. Then after that, I can now go ahead and cut out the type of neckline that I want. So after doing that, I'll also take my shoulder measurements and my armhole. I'll divide my bust by 4, my waist by 4, and my darts. So I'll just go ahead and show you guys that. Anywhere you go, give it on. Anywhere you say, anywhere. Now after cutting out the front, I'll use it to cut out the back. I'll go ahead and fold my back and I'll place my front on it. So for the back neckline, we are using 1.5 for the neck depth. The neck depth of the back will be 1.5, just 1.5, and you go ahead and cut out. So after that, also remember to notch your darts. Also remember to notch your back dart, and you add 1.5 inch for your zipper allowance. That is very necessary. Anywhere you go, give it on. Anywhere you say, anywhere. Now I am done cutting that. I'll go ahead and cut out my sleeve. For my sleeve, I am using a normal straight sleeve, like a basic sleeve. I'll go ahead and cut that also. I told you guys that I'm having headache. Let me just show you guys the process. So it's just a basic sleeve. If you're still confused on how to cut out a basic sleeve, you can watch my tutorials. I have a lot of tutorials on how to cut out a basic sleeve. So the full length of this sleeve is 24 inches, and then I'll add 2 inches for the allowance. I'll add 2 inches for the allowance. So I'll mark 24 plus 2 inches for seam allowance. After doing that, I'll go ahead and mark my sleeve curve. So from the top of the sleeve, you come down by 6 inches and you mark your curve. Then at that 6 inches also, you take your sleeve round sleeve measurements. At the full length, I'll mark my sleeve measurements also. My sleeve measurement is 8. My wrist measurement is 8 divided by 2, that is 4 plus 1 inch for seam allowance. Then I'll go ahead and connect. After connecting that, I will cut it out. So after cutting out this particular sleeve, I will use it to cut out the second sleeve. Anywhere you go, give it on. Anywhere you say, anywhere. Now I am done with the sleeve parts. Over to the front. So I'll get the center front of this neckline. Then one side of this neckline we have a V-neck, and it will stop at the center front. V-neck will stop at the center front. This side will have a little round and then another V that will connect to the center front. So I'll just go ahead and cut it out. Open it up, mark V on this side that I'm cutting, stop at the center, then mark a round neck and another V that will connect to that V at the center. So at this point it was not really defined. I just had to go ahead and define that neckline very well. Though if I'm turning it with my facing, I will still define it properly. Now after cutting this out, I will cut out the facing for it. You need to cut out the facing for this top. It is really important. Please don't use bias so that your finishing will be very nice. So this is the fabric that I'll be using for the facing. Just spread it and make sure that the right side of the fabric is facing the right side of the facing. Then go ahead and cut. You can see that I did not cut out this facing on fold. Just open the front bodice before cutting your facing. Then you go ahead and cut out the other side. Now you can see what I have. This is my facing. After that, we will cut out our peplum. So we need to use a paper to draft out our peplum at first. I'll go ahead and fold this paper. Fold it. Keep your paper on fold. Then you know this peplum is just at the front, so you will divide your waist by 2. You'll be using just the front. Like my waist is 27. I divided it by 2, and that is what I'm using. So I'll go ahead and divide. The 27 divided by 2 is around 13.75. So 13.75 divided by 2 I marked, and I marked 11 inches for the full length of the peplum. This peplum is just at the front, remember. Then go ahead and cut out that paper. It is just at the front. Go ahead and cut out the paper. So I'm working with just half of my waist measurements. Now I'll open up the paper and I'll find the midpoint of this paper. First of all, I'll go ahead and mark the midline of the paper. Then if you check this peplum very well, it's all of them are overlapping each other. So from the center, I will go in by extra 4 inches for the overlap. The both of the peplum are overlapping each other. Then from these 4 inches that I marked, I will connect it. I'll connect it behind the center line. It has to cross the center line, so you can see the way I connected it. Then from that point, from the other side, you will come up by 5 inches and you will connect it to this other points. You can see the shape that peplum is giving us. So that is what we are going to do right now. I'll just go ahead and cut off the other side. So this is the shape of the peplum that we are working with, and I'll go ahead and cut it on my navy blue fabric and my white fabric. And as you are cutting, do not forget to add 1/2 inch seam allowance, and it is double because this navy blue will also have a navy blue lining, the other white will have a white lining. So you have to add lining to all of them. That means your fabric should be your lining. So whatever you are cutting, cut out 2 pieces. Now I am done cutting out for the navy blue. I'll go ahead and cut out for the white lining. Though this is an off-white lining, I'll go ahead and cut out for the white lining. This is very important. Then after cutting out for the white lining, I will turn just 2 sides of this peplum. This side that I'm cutting now, and this side that I am cutting now, because they will be showing. That's the only 2 sides you will turn. So I'll just go ahead, I'll go to my sewing machine and I will turn them with 1/2 inch, just 1/2 inch. After turning them, I'll come back and show you guys. Now I am done turning them with 1/2 inch, and I have ironed, and you can see the shape it is giving me. I really love them, they are so beautiful. So now I will get the front of my skirt, this front panel, and I'll go ahead and fix this peplum on them. Just get your front panel and fix this peplum on them. You can see what I have there. I'll go ahead and pin them down. Please pin them down before you run a stitch at the waist and at the side. It is really important. So after pinning them down, I'll go to my sewing machine and I'll run a stitch to hold them down at the waistline and at the hip area. After doing that, I will close my back zipper allowance, the zipper allowance for the back of the skirt. I will close it and then I will place it on this and shape. Right now I am done closing the zipper allowance for the back of my skirt. You can see the zipper allowance, I've closed it. I will place it on this skirt, take my measurements, and then I'll go ahead and shape. The shaping is really important.
Anywhere you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
So right now I am done with the skirts and I will hem the full length. Now this is the back of this dress, the back of the top. I will go ahead and cut out a facing for the neckline. If you want to use a bias to turn the back, you can do it. Sometimes I use bias to turn the back, and for the front I will use facing, but I want to use facing for the both of them this time around. I'll just go ahead and cut this out. After cutting it out, I will turn the 2 neckline with the facing. So right now this is the front, and I will also turn it with the facing. If you want, you can add interface to the facing for the front so that it will be strong enough. Now these are my sleeves, and I am done turning and hemming my sleeve. I'll keep the sleeve aside. Over to the top. Now this is the back. I've added my darts, I've closed my zipper allowance, and I've added my facing. And this is the front. I have closed with my facing, and it is really looking good. Then I'll place the 2 of them together, and then I'll take my body measurements. After taking my body measurements, I will also close the shoulder. You have to close the shoulder area. So after closing the shoulder, you will come back, and now this is my skirt. I'm done ironing the skirt. Please ignore this water on it. I noticed that the other one was not really fixed at the hip line, so I'll just go ahead and attach it very well to the hip line. Now the next thing that I will do is to trim my armhole. I'll trim my armhole, and I'll trim the half length for this top. I'll go ahead and trim the half length for this top. After doing that, I'll join it to the skirt, and I will also add my sleeve. So that is it, guys. I want to remind you all that our registration for August classes is ongoing. So if you want to join any of our August classes, you can just feel free to drop a comment and I will direct you on how to join our class. Now I will attach the top to the skirt and I will also add my sleeve. So these are my sleeves. I will go ahead and add my sleeve. After doing this, you also fix your zipper. So at the end of the day, this is what you have. Our dress is really beautiful. The neckline, the peplum, everything about the dress is just so fine. So guys, please do not forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Please like my video. It is very important. Like this video and subscribe so that anytime I upload a video, you will see it. Also click on notification bell so that anytime I upload a new video, you will be notified. See you all later. Bye.